What are you saying, bro? You ready for another lesson?
Man, I can't wait, man. It's been a while, So.
That's a screw.
You can even tell already, you know?
Hey, right rudder, that's it.
Wheel 01, you can backtrack now.
Need to be over the field in between the two.
Alright.
What do you know about increasing the angle of bank?
Full speed.
Exactly.
You're fine, you're on the centre line, and then suddenly you're not, bro.
Next time you're in a brass, bro.
That landing. Whew. I'm worn out.
Are you aiming to be a commercial pilot?
Yes, at some
Right.
point.
Yes. So these calls, they have to be made in a commercial environment. Well done, mate. You're gonna make a good commercial pilot.
Thank you.
I'll walk up behind the aircraft.
You're very behind the aircraft. We've got a fuel leak. Are we? Yeah.
By the way, go to the whiskey, sorry. The whiskey is quite strong. Mate, you're gonna make a good commercial pilot.
You still have control.
No, you tell me when you want to take control. You tell me when you want to take control.
Ever? Do I have to?
Yes. As I say so. Bear in mind, you're going to have to work with what you've got, normally. What do you need?
That's what I'll make use of what I've got.
Previously on Future Pilot 901.
Okay, how you feeling?
Feeling good?
Good. You're gonna go solo.
Okay. Student Will 08 is ready for departure. We're off.
Student Wheel 08, surface wind is 330 at 9 knots, we've got one to vacate.
Student Will 08.
Charlie Kilo is the right base, get out to land. Student Wheel 08, minute takes and well done.
This aircraft is so nice to fly with.
Yeah, very nice.
Victor Golf, Kid 20 Southing Controlled Airspace now in the climb to altitude 3,000 feet, heading 090 degrees.
Just 3,000 feet is very nice and smooth.
Yeah.
It's not like in the cloud.
Location Sierra November. This comes the procedure report on low flight established.
The whole point of getting your IMC is you fly clouds. That's sort of where we are roughly. See?
Okay.
So we came in for an approach on runway 23. We did a missed approach, and now we're being vectored around to do another approach into runway 23.
Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is Dee, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901. Well, hello there. What's up, people? Welcome to Future Pilot 901 live every Monday night, 7 p.m. UK time, live on Kick and YouTube. My name is Dee. I'm your host for this evening. How are you guys doing? I hope you're having a good start to the week. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, and welcome to the show. Oh, yeah. So, I have a number of interesting things in the flight bag for today. I've got a number of interesting things in the flight bag for today, including changes to LAPL. CAA has released some information about changes to LAPL, changes to cost sharing. So we'll be getting you up to date with some of those general aviation stuff, as well as catching you up on what's happening on the Future Pilot and on YouTube page, because we are back in action. Yeah. After a long time, I'm back in action. I'm officially back to being a filmmaker. Constantly editing. In fact, I think I've been editing so much that's actually made me sick. Yeah, so I'm actually not up to my best today. So if I do this, you might hear me sneezing in the background because I'm not feeling too great today. But the show must go on. The show must go on. And we have to keep it moving. Let's see, what do we have? Oh, very excited about I have just ordered some new merch. All right, I have Live Your Dream hats coming back. I've got them in a couple of colors. So those will be coming back. I don't know if you've seen the Live Your Dream hat. If you haven't, stay tuned. Over the coming weeks, I should have one hat on, but yeah, you'll probably see it pop up in my videos. As you can see, I'm in full pilot uniform today, as I do with these shows. Some haters will say that I'm not a real captain, but that's why they're haters. Yeah, they are haters. Don't believe them because they're chatting rubbish. All right. So let's kick it off. By the way, if you did not catch it, if you didn't catch the last few episodes of Future Pilot 901 live, you never will. You never will. Because I've decided to delete these shows. So they're live, and maybe I might leave it for a couple of days and then they go away. So if you don't tune in live, you don't catch it. That's how it flows, and that's how it goes. That's how it flows, and that's how it goes. Anna, shout out to Anna on Kick. Anna de Jesus. I imagine is that Brazilian? Is that Brazilian surname? De Jesus. No, I do not stream daily. I stream weekly, every Monday night, 7 p.m. UK time. Whether I'm well or I'm sick, listen, I could be in hospital on the hospital bed and I'll still stream, okay? Because that's how we do it. We need consistency. That's the key. Consistency. So yes, it's a weekly show every Monday, 7 p.m. UK time, live on Kick and on the YouTube. Big shout out to the new YouTube subscribers. Yep, we've had a little influx of new subscribers over on YouTube due to the latest video being posted. If you don't know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. I will come back to that. All right, so let's have a look. For those of you who are student pilots, I am going to put a little gift for you because I love giving gifts. I'm going to put a little gift in the chat. If you are a student pilot and you want to practice your radio telephony, it's a tricky thing. It's not easy to get. And you need some practice. I basically took a video of ATC at Heathrow because a lot of the stuff that's out there is American. It's not UK stuff. So if you're American, I know a majority of the audience, a lot of the audience of Future Pilot 901 are American. Shout out to you across the pond. You can kind of check it out. But yeah, most useful for UK student pilots who want to practice radio telephony. You can have a look at the link in the chat. I took away the responses of the pilots so that you have a gap to respond. So you're hearing ATC instructions and you basically have to read back or respond within the time. All right. So check out the link. And that video, by the way, is not public. So this is a Future Pilot 901 Live exclusive gift from me to you. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right, then. So let's dive into it. First of all, the LAPL, or the Light Aircraft Pilot's License. Right? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. What's happening with the Light Air Pilot's License? So, let's have a look. Light Aircraft Pilot's License, of course, is to do with the CAA because I'm in the UK. Shout out UK. As part of the licensing and training simplification project, UK CAA will no longer be issuing LAPL for airplanes. After 1st of October, students currently training for the LAPL A will have until the 16th of September to submit the application for license issue in order to guarantee having their LAPL A issued prior to the deadline. Any applications received after this date will not be guaranteed to have a UK LAPL A issued. Students who have trained for the LAPL A and have their license issued after the 1st of October 2025 will be issued with an NPPL, or a national PPLA. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So changes coming to the LAPL. Apparently they're trying to simplify the license and training. And so it's going to be an NPPLA instead after the 1st of October. So that's useful to know. If you know anybody, I'm sure if anybody is doing LAPL training, their instructor would have told them. But I like to keep abreast of these changes, of these things. I like to stay informed. And like I've said in previous episodes, and if you didn't tune in, you wouldn't know because I delete the episodes. I am using you. I'm sorry. I have to be honest. At least I'm honest. But that's the truth. That is the truth. I am using you. It's true. As a way to be accountable for reading up on stuff that I should read up on and should know, but I generally don't read up on it. So this is my opportunity to stay abreast of really important GA information in the UK. And if you'd like to join me on a Monday. There's always a segment where we do these things, and then maybe we'll get into like looking at some YouTubers, and maybe we'll even look at your favorite YouTuber who posted a video last week. But yeah, a little bit of peer study doesn't hurt. A little bit of peer study doesn't hurt. In fact, it might even enhance your study experience. So that's the info on the LAPL. Of course, if you want to know more, go over to the CAA website. If you are in the UK, if you're in America, well, just stay tuned for the latter parts of this show, whatever you want to call it. Right. Let me dip into my flight bag and see what else we've got here today. What have we here? By the way, I was so last week I was after the show, I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna do some edits. I'm gonna get some clips and I'm gonna post those clips, so more people can kind of see what I'm getting up to in the shows. And I went to the clips, or I went to rewatch the live show, and it was like this. It was, and I was like, can't use it. So to whoever tuned in last week, sorry about the quality. I hope that the quality this week is a lot better. It's still a work in progress. I don't like the blue, this deep kind of, I guess, royal blue around me. I don't really like it. So over the coming weeks, I'm going to be adjusting all of these stuff to reflect brand colors, and there will be editing, all that kind of stuff, improving the quality. But here's the thing, though. You cannot improve on something you haven't started. So whatever idea you've got, right? Sometimes we think, I want to have it in the best possible state, right? I want to have it in the best possible state before I start, because I need to be amazing. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be rejected. So I need to have the best possible state. There's this great quote that I heard from Tom Bilyeu, right? And it goes something, I don't know if it's a Tom Bilyeu original, but he's got this channel called Impact Theory on YouTube. Check it out. It's really interesting. I might need to sneeze in a second because I'm actually not feeling well today. Oh. So what is his quote? His quote is, sometimes we're waiting for the perfect conditions to... Oh, no, it's not Tom Bilyeu. It's Chris will I'll find the channel for you. Anyways, the point is, he says, sometimes we're waiting for the perfect condition to start, but starting is the perfect condition. Sometimes we're waiting for the perfect conditions to start when actually starting is the perfect condition. And my way of saying that is, you cannot improve on something you haven't started. If it's flight training, get started. You're going to improve along the way. If it's asking somebody out, get started. You're going to improve along the way. If it's writing, get started. You're going to improve along the way. If it's filmmaking, get started. You're going to improve along the way. If it's therapy, if it's whatever, anything that you've got on your mind, just be action orientated. Done is better than perfect. Because guess what? There's no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing. So just get it done. Just get started. You will improve once you start. You cannot improve something you haven't started. So that's my nugget to you guys. And I have to remind myself of that every time. Anytime I find myself procrastinating on an idea, what I try to remind myself is, or the strategy I try to use with myself is to tell myself, okay, how can I reduce my idea so that it's so small that it's doable, right? Because sometimes we think, and I did this years ago, can't start flight training because becoming a pilot is going to cost like 100K and blah, blah, blah for me to be in. Okay. That's the bigger picture. Now reduce it. What's the tiniest you can do? Okay, one flying lesson. Can I afford one flying lesson? Yes, go for it. Right? Reduce whatever your idea is to the least, to a size that you can just get started. And that is, for me, a way to also beat procrastination. Anytime you're thinking, I need to wash the dishes, right? But maybe I don't know. Just say, okay, cool. Am I willing to wash one dish? All right, cool. Just wash one. Get started. Reduce it to a level that you're willing to do. So that's my nugget for the day. Now, reaching back into my flight bag for the next one, which is a major one for me, actually. Cost sharing, very important, because it makes our building cheaper, right? And sometimes people don't factor this into flight training. So if I do an integrated course, right, paying anywhere around 95 grand to 120 grand, depending on what school I go to and where. If I'm doing modular training, and I get my PPL first, which is the stage I'm at now, then I can actually do cost sharing. So it might take me, let's say, I'm totally making this up, 10 grand to build 100 hours, right? It takes me 10 grand to build 100 hours. Well, if I build in cost sharing to that, then it might cost me half of that, right? It might cost me 5 grand to build up 100 hours instead of 10 grand. So it's actually a good way to reduce the price, but there's a way to do it to make those flights legal, and that's the guidance that the CAA is currently working on and also releasing. So it's something that's being reviewed, that has been in review, I believe, since 2021. So let's have a look at what they've come up with. Oh, have you ever wanted to sneeze and it's like right there? It's like ready to sneeze, but it's not quite happening. It's really annoying, really annoying. Here it comes. Nope. False alarm. False alarm. False alarm. Just hurry up and sneeze. Right, the show must go on. So, cost sharing. What is the CAA saying? All right, passenger information. Cost sharing flights are flights shared by private individual. Now, of course, when you have a private pilot's license, what you can't do is get paid for flying, right? And a lot of people don't realize that. They're like, oh, private pilot's license. Does that mean you fly private jets and stuff like that? Nope. That's not what it means. It just means you fly for fun. You can't get paid for flying. So, cost sharing flights are flights shared by private individuals. The cost shared part is in reference to the costs of the specific flight, which can be shared only between the pilot and others on board. These costs are direct costs, right? So that means it has to do with, fuel, airfield charges, rental fee, or rental fee for an aircraft. So it can't be, for example, the pilot's journey to the airfield, right? If I'm driving to the airfield and that's part of the total cost, if I'm cost sharing, people can't contribute to that. I can't factor that in, right? Which is very useful to know. Sneeze. There we go. Finally, I sneezed, but I'm live and I don't want to be a laughing stock. So let's continue. The safety and conduct of any flight, including cost-sharing flights, cost flight. I think that's a typo. It's the responsibility of the no is. Should I message them and tell them they've got a typo? Speaking of which, I'm literally the kind of guy that reads everything. So I'd read like all the policies at work that no one reads. And I'll be like, there's a typo on page 3, on page 5, this section, that section, there's a typo. And they're like, wait, you actually read this stuff? Yep, I do. Right. So the safety and conduct of any flight, including cost shared flights, is the responsibility of the pilot in command of the aircraft. The pilot must conduct the flight in accordance with the applicable regulation for non-commercial, which is exactly what it is, non-commercial flights with light aircraft by private pilots. So I'm going to fast forward. Of course, if you want to have a look at this, just type in cost sharing and the CAA, and that will come up. But I'm going to fast forward through some of the things that I found interesting, right? So where cost shared flights are arranged through online platforms, the CAA recommends the use of only websites that have signed up to the European Aviation Safety Agency, right? Charter to promote the safety of non-commercial general aviation with light aircraft by flight sharing. So if you're going to use like one of the platforms I know of is Wingly. I don't know if it's still up. I don't know if people still use it, but when I was training, I knew about Wingly. So basically the CAA is recommending that you use website that have signed up to that. I don't know if Wingly have signed up to it. So just something to check. Right, safety standards. Blah, blah, blah. The safety of non-commercial flyers is... this is an interesting part. So commercial aviation in large passenger carrying aircraft has now achieved exceptional safety standards. Very true. One of the safest, if not the safest way to travel. A standard that would be unachievable by lighter sport, recreational and personal transport aircraft. The safety of non-commercial light aircraft is more comparable to other recreational activities than the much higher standard achieved in commercial aviation. It is recommended that any promotion of cost sharing and conversations with pilots providing flights should inform you as a potential passenger of the safety levels of general aviation flights with light aircraft as compared to those of commercial flying. So basically, if I'm going to be cost sharing, I think this is really fair. I think this is a fair point. But if I'm going to be cost sharing, people are generally flying. When they think about flying, they fly commercial or airliners, which have systems. There are two pilots. There are systems with redundancies. For example, on my blog, www.futurepilot901.com, shameless plug. On my way to the airfield, I actually had one of my aviation t-shirts on, and there's a guy sitting next to me, and he was like, do you fly? I was like, yeah, I'm a student pilot. He was like, oh, I'm a captain with American Airlines. So I've got a conversation with a 777 captain, something like that, on my blog site. And I asked him what was the most eventful flight that he had. And he said, really, like in civil aviation, he's not had anything, because like once he's had hydraulics fail, but there was a backup for that and there's a backup for the backup. So it was kind of a non-issue. You lose one engine, you can fly around with the second engine and come and land. Things like that. Whereas obviously with general aviation, more times than not, it's a single engine. You lose that engine and you have to you have to do a forced landing. So the safety levels in general aviation is much lower than it is because there's just so many protective factors in flying airliners. But people don't realize that, right? And I've, in the last year and a half since getting my license, actually it's been nearly 2 years since I passed my skills test. I've flown, probably introduced 20 to 30 people to general aviation, and I guarantee that unless I told them, none of them were aware of how much more dangerous general aviation is. So I kind of think it's a really fair thing to say that if you're going to be cost sharing with people, you need to make them aware of that. Actually, this non-commercial flight is a high risk. And then I think it's part of your role as a pilot in command to then say, because it's higher risk, I take these steps to ensure your safety. And I think that's really important because that's something I do anyway when I fly with people, is I try to give them confidence in my ability, and I tell them what I'm doing and the reasons why I'm doing it. So I think it's important to explain or to mention the higher risk, but also it's a good opportunity to actually then put them at ease by telling them what you're doing to deal with those risks. Anyways, those are just my thoughts for whatever it's worth. Back to the document. Again, you can go check this out. Cost sharing flight CAA. Just Google that and it will come up. I'm just going to fast forward to the bits that I found interesting. Okay. Now, here is another interesting bit, right? Flying with passengers opens new potential issues ranging from security and personal safety to insurance implications, right? Now, you fly for an airline, everyone's go through security. They've probably been scanned. Like the people at security know where, like, if there's an organ missing in this person, like they I mean, people have to strip down, take their belts out. If they walk through the metal detectors and it beep beep beep, they then have to get checked and all of that kind of stuff, right? A lot of security. But when I invite people to fly with me in a Cessna, I'm actually very mindful, right? And what I like to do is I like to meet people beforehand. One, I've only flown with people who I either know or somebody who I know sent them to me to experience general aviation, right? So there's always at least 1 or 2 degrees of separation. The sneeze is coming on again. And what I usually do is before the flight, I just take time to talk to them, right? It's like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, yeah, really? Oh, cool. So what interested you in aviation? Oh, as a kid, I've always wanted to do blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, really? Okay. Get to know them, get them talking. As they're talking, I'm assessing them, right? Do they seem depressed? Because listen, I'm not gonna end in a ditch with you, right? So if you're on some kind of unaliving yourself mission, you've got the wrong person. Yeah, it's not gonna be me. It's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. Listen, I've got projects, I've got goals, I've got a mission. All right, you're not unaliving me with yourself. So yeah, I take time to talk to them to kind of assess their mental state. Are they depressed, or do they seem excited for the flight? Are they nervous? Is that nervousness because they're up to something dodgy, or is that nervousness because they're concerned about the flight? So it's like I'm always risk assessing, and these are things that we don't necessarily, or I was never spoken to about during flight training. And to be fair, during PPL training specifically. And to be fair, like there's a lot more that you're learning, right? And these are some of the things that once you do get your PPL license, that you then actually consider. Because the first time you're sitting in the aircraft, With a complete stranger, it's like, wait, you've got access to all the controls, right? So it opens you up to security risks. And I think that's important to consider. Anyways, to help pilots understand the pros and cons of cost sharing with strangers, we have produced CAP 1589. Let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, so it's only a 2-page document. Let me see. Am I sharing the right? Yes. It's only a 2-page document, right? Direct cost, additional guidance. Okay, so there isn't actually anything there to help me. Yeah, I don't think that that's what it's supposed to say. Right, okay. Cost sharing flight guidance information. I mean, a navigation order. Let's have a look. Where does this take us? Cost sharing. Let's have a look at the page, the content scope. Or that doesn't. I mean, what exactly does this contents page say? It doesn't really say anything, especially when you're trying to like get through important information. That is almost a useless contents page. Sneeze. Oh, mate. The show must go on. I did consider cancelling today's show, but I won't do it. I won't do it. Oh, right. Give me a sec, guys. Give me a sec.
Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is Dee, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901.
Okay, we're back. Right. So yeah, that did not take me where I was hoping to go. So we're just going to track back. Right. Okay, so pros and cons of cost sharing. It doesn't really say that there right now. Ultimately, the clear intention of the cost sharing rules is to allow pilots to fly more. Okay, that's the aim. Fly more. Why? Because if there are more people chipping in, maybe you can do twice the flight time, right? You can fly more, build skills, and that's really important because the more you're flying, the more you're building the skills and experience while sharing your passion for aviation with others. Providing passengers and pilots understand that and stick to the rules, then that intention can become a reality, right? European and national regulations permit cost sharing as follows. The flight is a cost shared flight by private individuals, right? So this is not like a company trying to set up cost sharing, right? Cost sharing flights cannot form part of a business activity through an organization, which is basically what I just said. The direct costs of the flight must be shared between all of the occupants of the aircraft, including the pilot, up to a maximum of 6 persons. Now, what that basically means is, what I can't say is, oh, this flight costs £200. Oh, there are, 5 passengers here. Can you all contribute £40? Which basically covers the 200 pounds flight, right? Quick maths. Yeah, that can't happen. I have to contribute as the pilot. Cost sharing arrangements apply to any other than complex motor-powered Part 21 aircraft, and this includes aircraft registered outside the Part 21 area but operated by an operator established or residing in the community. I have to tell you guys, that means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just going to be honest. I'm completely ignorant on what that means. And that's part of why I'm doing this. I actually want to know. Hey, by the way, you know, sometimes how we hold back from admitting that we're ignorant to something, that we don't know something. Well, if you ask the stupid question, if you ask a dumb question and you get an answer, then you don't have to be dumb anymore. Just saying. Just saying. That's some good advice that was given to me. So never be afraid to admit that you can't, that you don't know something. And that pays off even in things like group exercises, right? Because at the moment there's sponsored schemes with, for example, Aer Lingus, Jet2, British Airways, TUI, and they will pay for you to get through your training to become a pilot with them, right? Probably what you have to do along the way is a group exercise where there's a group of you working on a problem and you've got a limited amount of time to make certain decisions, right? Now, what can happen in those situations is somebody didn't understand the instruction, but instead of, you know, talking to each other, wait, I'm a bit confused here. Can somebody please help clarify this thing? They don't want to come across like they don't know, right? And if you were to do that, not admit that you're confused, everyone will probably know you're confused because your responses will be off, right? And that's going to mark you down. You're better off just saying, wait, I'm a bit confused. Can somebody clear that up? Then they clear it up, then you're on board, right? Same thing when you're doing your skills test. And this is part of my mock skills test that I did before I completed my skills test. I was told, look, if you're off the altitude that you're supposed to be in, mention it, narrate it. I need to regain altitude. Okay, my speed is too slow. I'm going to accelerate. Whatever it is, just we're off track a little bit. We're going to correct that, right? Mention it so people know that you have that self-awareness, because what you don't want is somebody who is wrong but doesn't know and won't admit that they're wrong. So I am completely ignorant on that Part 21 stuff. Let's check the chat. What's up to people in the chat? Shout out to Tony. Yes, am I a pilot? Yes, I am a pilot. I'm a private pilot. I've got a UK private pilot's license, which importantly means I can fly for fun. If you're on Kick, check out my YouTube channel, Future Pilot 901. I've got some videos of me training as a student pilot, if that's the kind of thing you're interested in. And also some, I've just started posting some flights of me going to places. Recently, I decided to go fly to the coast, one of the coastal towns in the UK called Brighton, and I went there to do salsa. So you kind of follow my adventure on me going out to Brighton and some of the issues that I faced along the way. Had to make some critical decisions to actually make sure the flight was safe. But yes, if you want to watch that, go over to my YouTube and you'll be able to see it. Tony Bond, bye, right? I don't have time for nonsense. I have no time for your nonsense. You couldn't fly a boat on the ground. That's because boats don't fly. Yeah, actually, that's just bye. Where am I from? I am, Anna asks, I am currently in London in the UK, but originally I was born in Congo. I grew up in Kenya and I matured in London. So that is my history in a nutshell. But yes, I would say go over to YouTube and check out my YouTube channel. Let's have a look. YouTube chat is quiet. Shout out to the Kick stream chat. You guys are a bit more chatty over on Kick. And back to the document we go. So I'm going to have a look at what this part 21 means, right? Might be another time for another advert. Right. Let's have a look. So part 21. Share this tab instead. Part 21 in the context of aviation refers to a set of regulation established by the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, or EASA, and adopted by the UK CAA concerning airworthiness, environmental certification of aircraft, the engine, propellers, and related parts. It outlines the requirements for design, production, and continued airworthiness of these components. Right. Key aspects of Part 21. Blah, blah, blah. So certain aircraft, certain... Okay, cool. I'll take a deep dive into that maybe another day. For now, let's go back to cost sharing. Cost sharing is also permitted in non-Part 21 aircraft registered in the UK. Now, proposed changes, right? We want to strengthen current regulations in the following ways, says the CAA. We want to improve the definition of the direct costs. Fair enough. Which can be shared on flights to provide clarity for both pilot and passengers. We want to make it mandatory that all participants pay an equal share in the costs of a flight. Makes sense, including the pilot. However, the pilot can choose to pay more, right? And this is the advice that I was given by a great flight instructor called Keno. He's been on the channel. If you watch YouTube, Future Pilot 901 on YouTube, it's in season 2, and it's the episode that is titled 1000th Hour Flight. And one thing that he said to me is, when you're cost sharing with people, generally cover at least half of the cost. Now, that's even more stringent than what they're saying here, but the idea is make sure that you're above board and unquestionable. That's the thought behind it. But what it's saying here is essentially that let's say the flight costs you £200 and there are 4 of you in total. If you split that 200 into 4 bits, it's obviously £50 each. So that's the minimum that you as the pilot would have to contribute. Now you can do £100 and let them split the other 100, but the least you need to put in is 50 to make sure that it's legal, right? We want to regularize the existing limit on cost sharing flights to a maximum of 6 occupants, right? Let me have a look. Maximum of 6 person. Okay. To a maximum of 6 occupants. We want pilots and operators to ensure passengers are fully aware of the risks associated with flying in GA or general aviation aircraft, that they are greater than taking a commercial flight through the signing and retention of standardized declaration form. Okay, so this is potentially one of the changes where it's not just kind of relying on you as the pilot telling people that, hey, we're flying in this Cessna, and just so you know, this, in non-commercial general aviation flights, they're more risky than flying with airliners. They're not just trusting you to do that. They're basically saying they're going to have a standardized form that you need to get people to sign, and you need to keep a record of it. So that's pretty useful to know. that's in the pipeline. We want to ensure pilots retain control of flights, right? Ensuring they're undertaking missions planned and directed by themselves rather than flights dictated by passenger requirement, right? We want to ensure advertising of flights properly reflects this dynamic. We want to remove age limits for cost sharing passengers. Okay, so these are some of the changes. So these are some of the that's some of the information recently released that's being worked on about cost sharing, and it's useful to know. Now, what I would like to know is where is through the signing and retention of a standardized declaration form that passengers, if you're cost sharing with, I guess, random strangers, that document is what I would like to see. But yeah, this has been in consultation for some time. They've been working on it, working on creating guidance, and so on. So I will keep you guys up to date on this information. As soon as I hear something new, I will let you know. Okay. When I hear something, I will let you know. And since we have this on a Monday night, 7 p.m. UK time every week, that gives me the accountability of not only reading, but sharing this information. All right. By the way, did anyone go to React last week / this past weekend? React was on. I've never been to React. I've heard some really good stuff about React. It's the Royal International Air Tattoo. So you might have seen some really cool aircrafts on display doing some really cool things. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, React is, I've heard some very, very good things. If you went, drop a comment. Let me know how was it? How was it? Okay. At the same time, guess what else is on? Guess what else is on? If you follow aviation YouTubers, most of whom are in America, then you will also know that Oshkosh is on. Apparently, this is a live feed into Oshkosh. I don't know what their schedule is, but
1,890 knots at Fisk and 2,300, 135 knots at Fisk.
So yeah, Oshkosh is going on as well. If you have followed some aviation YouTubers from America, you might have seen some cool people flying into Oshkosh. I know Aviation 101 has a cool video I'll show you guys in case you have not been following Aviation 101. Where is he? Where is he? Where are you, sir? Mr. Josh Flowers. Let's have a look. So tabs open right now. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Where is he? 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 Flying through turbulence.
Alright.
Fly good, don't stop.
That's right.
The high wing directly over Fisk. Good job. I see you. You're up a little high. You can start making the descent down. You're going to runway 9er. This is the high wing over Fisk, monitor tower 18.5. My Mooney.
Starting down.
Good job. On that left base to runway 36, monitor tower 126.6. Any chance for 36 for the 195?
Yeah, you better do a good rock.
You want good rock?
The 195.
Okay, you guys good rock.
Mr. Maintenance Pilot.
Right.
Alright, we are 0.2 behind him.
We're back on wire.
Hey, look forward to seeing the flight of 2 Bonanzas. Alright, Oshkosh, we're landing runway 9er today and runway 36. The wind 150 at 6 altimeter 30.
What I will say is, I'm a bit jealous. I'm a bit jealous of Josh Flowers. I'm a bit jealous because he and I still don't know if they're married now, but I know he proposed to her, Chelsea. He's got a girl who's also a pilot and flight instructor, and together they're exploring the world and doing all these fun aviation stuff. I have to say, it's incredible. I have to say I'm a bit jealous. So if there are any single lady pilots out there you'd like to be with an incredible man pilot over here, let's get together and let's make history. Let's get together. Let's make history. Because I'm a bit jealous of these guys, pilot couples. Anyhow, let's go back and have a look. So they're flying into Oshkosh.
Starting point is Puckaway Lake
fast forward
transition.
it.
So proceed up the southwest corner of Puckaway Lake. Find an aircraft with similar performance. Follow them 1 mile trail spacing at 1,800 feet going 90 knots. If you can't slow down to 90 knots, you need you up at 2,300 feet going 135 knots. If 90 knots is too fast.
Alright.
You're step a mile south of the tower, runway 36 left, clear to landing. Put it on the yellow dot.
That's us, I think.
I think so.
Alright,
Roll wing on, roll out, nice work. You make the left turn into the grass or Papa 2 and follow the flag, man. Welcome, Nosh.
So that space would be full of aircraft.
Alright, you got the yellow
a
inside.
mile south of the tower, runway 36 left, clear to landing. Put it on the yellow, number 3.
So in case you don't know, at Oshkosh, they've got dots on the runway and the dots are different colors. And I guess I've never really fully researched this, but I guess it's to do with, one, how fast the aircraft is or how powerful the engine is, because some aircrafts fly faster, some aircrafts fly slower. So if you're a slower aircraft and you're in front of a faster aircraft, they need you to fly further along the runway. So they will tell you a certain colored dot to land on so that they can keep the traffic flowing, basically. And all those dots are different colors. And you basically have to try and land on the dot, which is actually, a good test of accuracy. I might have just butchered that, but, take it with a pinch of salt.
We'll keep it in the air till the yellow.
High wing short final, keep it airborne to the yellow dot, please. High wing short final, keep it airborne to the yellow dot.
Roger.
Nice work, high wing. Nice landing there. Left turn into the grass to Papa 2 and follow the flag.
50.
That's Josh and his dad.
40.
Low wing steers tight, put it down as soon as you can.
Ooh,
10.
Okay.
5.
Just a
High wing,
little
make that
off
left turn, you got
inside
faster traffic rolling out behind you. Nice work.
And they've got into Oshkosh. If you've never seen, let's have a look at what Oshkosh looks like. Let's have a look. They've got the big birds coming in. So yeah, Oshkosh looks quite cool. And let's have a look at what Riyadh looks like. Oh, what? Let's have a look. What is happening? No thanks. There you go. Whoa. What happened there? missed it again. Wait, isn't this the aircraft that they said was about when MH what is it, MH 370 disappeared? Well, allegedly they said they had American AWACS, which I believe are those type aircrafts. At least they've got the disc thing on top of them. But yeah, okay, so that was a little look at what Oshkosh and Riat looks like. I'm going to dip one more time into my flat bag, see if there's any. Ooh, yes, there is something I'd like to share with you guys. If you have not watched the latest video on my YouTube channel, for those of you on Kick, I'm going to drop it into the chat now and on the YouTube. I think that's the right link. Yeah. Let's have a look. This was somewhat of an adventure, right? Which is the kind of thing I would have dreamt about as a kid, the kind of thing I dreamt about before I got the license. But I'm going to show you guys just the intro of the new 4-part series currently showing on the Future Pilot 901 YouTube channel. New episodes every Thursday, 7 p.m. UK time. Released part 1 last week, so I've got part 2 to 4 to follow. Let's have a quick look at what that looks like. I've always loved flying.
Hello. Onto the radar. Come on. Well done.
And dancing, there's no denying. If only I could blend the two. I know what I'll do. I'll fly to a new place to dance with a new face. Enjoying the wings a private pilot license brings.
That was a little bit gusty.
Just made a no-fly decision.
Squawk on switch duty, 3 shore.
A different way to our build and advance.
2-0, join downwind.
I call it fly to dance.
4 flaps. Ooh, nice one. Flaps come up. Well, flight, man.
Foxtrot Sierra, welcome to shore.
We have everything in this flight, man. Everything, bro.
Yes, so if you've not seen the first episode, make sure you take yourself over to my Future Pilot 901 YouTube channel. Link in the chat, check it out. Anyways, we've come to the end of the show. Alas, I must let you go. Thank you very much for joining me. Remember, we're here every Monday, 7 p.m. UK time, where we discuss some of the most important updates to general aviation, maybe have a look at some aviation YouTubers who are out there doing some inspiring work. I'm feeling a bit rough today, so I'm going to head over and rest. I'm going to get some extra rest, but hopefully next week I'm going to come back with an even better show because we improve as we go. So If you have a takeaway from today, it's you cannot improve something you haven't started. Remember, you cannot improve on something you haven't started. Get started and then you'll improve. I believe the quote is by Chris Williamson. He's got a great YouTube channel, interviews people and has some great motivational speeches. And he says, you know, sometimes we think or we wait for the most ideal conditions when actually starting is the most ideal condition. Just get started. Just start. Just start. Whatever you're doing, just start. And there's another quote that I really, really like. And I don't remember the quote, but I will try to embody the spirit of the quote, right? In my own words. Thinking about doing it is not doing it. Writing about doing it is not doing it. Planning the thing is not doing the thing. Getting advice about doing the thing is not doing the thing. You know, writing about doing the thing is not doing the thing. Scheduling doing the thing is not doing the thing. Guess what's doing the thing? Doing the thing. So just get started and do the thing, whatever that thing is for you. Nothing changes unless you change. So life is all about making those changes and making those improvements, because you cannot improve without changing. So give yourself permission to change, approach things differently, and just get started. All right. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I'm going to head off, get some rest, but I will not leave you without inspiration. But for now, what I would say is thank you very much for joining me. See you next week. My name is Dee. This is Future Pilot 901. Live your dream.
Man, from living in my car to finally getting my trial flight done.
Hold it.
To being in this moment. Hey, come on.
Well done.
Was it worth the sacrifice? Oh, man.
Pull back. Maybe pull back more. Hold it there. Pull back.
Switching to Southern radar 130.
A bit more.
Listen. Was it worth the sacrifice?
So, power right on. Center line.
Listen, if you have a dream, it's down to you to make it happen, man. You might give it everything and it might still not work, but guess what? The journey makes you a better, stronger person. Can you imagine what kind of person you would become if you didn't pursue the one thing that you thought was the best thing in the world? You didn't pursue it. What kind of person does that make you after 20, 30 years of doing that? But when you chase what you believe is the most valuable, the most beautiful, the most awesome thing that you can do, and you give it everything, win or lose, you become a better person.